The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNC Now.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees and share all new things. We are your hosts. My name is Sean Mendoza.
Carlo Valencia.
And Eros Cabrera.
You're watching another episode of Founders Failures here at the new channel, where we bring entrepreneurs together. All right, we're back. So this is another episode of Founders Failures, where we bring entrepreneurs together,
inspire individuals into startups,
and never fear failure.
Yep.
Ayan. So guys,
don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Of course, definitely. Tonight's guest is actually medyo lumayo tayo. That's now this time we're actually streaming online. Tonight's guest is actually a member also of the Startup PH community. So, Chief Carlo, do the introduction.
Sure. So, actually, I haven't met him so much, and I'm very excited to meet him. He is the co-founder and managing director of The Block. Right, Sir Ellie.
Sir Ellie, welcome to Founders Failures. Good evening.
All right. So, Sir Ellie, later I'm going to be asking you questions. But before we do that, I'm hoping you can introduce yourself for the benefit of everybody listening.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sean, Aaron, and Carlo, for the introduction. And good evening to every one of you and to all our viewers tonight. So my name is Ellie Betislao. I'm the current co-founder and managing director of The Block. So minsan yung mga iba, parang sinasabi nila, ay, mali yung spelling, no? So actually, it is intended. Since our company is actually a provider of education, training, and certification for blockchain. And meron kasing pun sa blockchain space, no, na binabaliktad yung last two letters ng word. Like, yun nga, yung hold.
Right.
Yeah. Then yung build, B-U-I-D-L, ganyan. So, we use the same pun, kaya naging The Block yan, and baliktad yung spelling. Pero may meaning talaga siya. Yung meaning ng Block is Blockchain Lead Organization and Knowledge Center. So, we are an SEC registered company, pero the way we operate is mostly non-profit kasi we provide free education, free training, free certification. So, kaya siya Blockchain Organization and Knowledge Center. No? So, aside from that, I'm also a co-founder and a chief product officer of a climate tech company. The name of the company is Solterra Energy. So, what we do there is that we provide advanced metering infrastructure. These are smart meters for smart grid solution. So, usually, ang mga clients namin are distribution utilities and electric cooperatives. So, I have 9 years.
Ellie,
yeah,
you're everywhere.
Yeah, actually, nasa pipeline of client din namin ang Battleec 1 and 2, no? So, we've been talking to them back and forth, yeah. So I bring with me 9+ years of business development experience, no? What I usually do is I bridge yung tech tsaka yung businesses. Kasi, syempre, yung mga iba nating founders, madalas mga tech people, so nahirapan sila when it comes to business. And most of the time naman, laging dilemma, no? Business people sila, but they don't understand the tech. So I usually come in the middle and then bridge the two, the two together.
I like that. Yeah.
So, yeah. And then I graduated from PUP Santa Mesa, and I'm also a mentor to several students, an entrepreneur and an engineer as well. So nagra-run din kami ng mga hackathons, and then dun sa mga hackathons na yan, we've been mentoring mga students on how to become founders, especially on the 4 core principles ng business readiness, tech readiness, customer readiness, at funding readiness. So
Nice.
usually yung
Fantastic.
ginagawa namin, pero ang pinaka-focus namin ngayon talaga is yun nga, medyo active ako sa The Block and sa Soltera din. So mostly talaga yung mga recent activities namin, panay mga school partnership. So we have we have 6 university partners at the moment.
Soon,
So,
7.
That's cool.
Do not forget to include us, Ellie.
Of
Yeah.
course, naman.
Yun, syempre.
So Ellie, so you do a lot of hackathons, and I remember you said, man, earlier, di ba, na nationwide next week, I think pupunta kayong Cebu or something. So how long, and how long have you been doing it, and how did you get started?
We've been in the space for since 2015. So nandito na kami sa space ng blockchain, no. Actually, ngayon
That's
ang tawag.
early.
Yan, tawag na nila is Web3 eh. So medyo medyo iba na yung term. Pero back in the days kasi tawag lang namin dito is blockchain or cryptocurrency space, no.
Right.
So we've been there 2015, pero nung time na yun kasi more on nasa community lang kami, panay mga community advocacy lang ginagawa namin, like mga Crypto 101, Blockchain 101. Pero nung mga 2016, late 2016, we found out na parang hindi effective yung 101 lang. Parang wala siyang masyadong weight. Parang hindi masyadong
Parang intro lang
impact.
Right.
So, nung 2017, we decided na dalhin yung mga ginagawa namin sa mga schools. So, dito na nag-start na nakipartner kami sa mga school, provide kami ng mga program. Usually, mga program namin sa school, madalas 3 to 5 days siya, workshop talaga siya, training hands-on. Tapos, we have mga universities, no, na tinrain din namin, train the trainers, ganyan. And then, yung ginagawa namin before, parang na-notice yun ng isang foundation based in Singapore. So, sabi nila, parang we like what you're doing, ganyan. And then, they decided na, kumbaga, i-fund yung lahat ng activity namin dun sa, tawag dito, sa mga school. So, what happened is that, yun nga, nakapag-scale kami, we were able to partner to more universities, mas nakakuha kami ng additional na mga tao, resources. So mas nakapag-scale kami when it comes to activities, hindi na lang sa mga school, umabot din tayo sa mga private institution, mga private companies, especially IT solutions company, banks,
right,
no?
Right.
Like Union Banks yan before. And then hanggang sa pati government, mga agencies, no, we're able to onboard them into the blockchain space. Pero masyado pa kasing maaga that time eh. Sobrang aga pa. I mean, ang tingin pa sa blockchain kasi like early 2017 is just a scam eh. Bitcoin.
Lalo na cryptocurrency.
Actually, hindi nga nila alam yung, they are not particular with the word blockchain. Ang alam lang nila is cryptocurrency. And when you say cryptocurrency, ang alam lang nila, Bitcoin. So, medyo mahirap nung time na yon.
Right. Ellie, I have one question. You mentioned earlier na you are an engineer by profession. Paano ka napasok ng tech?
Not really engineer by profession. Actually, hindi talaga ako engineer by profession. Madalas lang kasi ako mapagkamalang engineer ng mga client namin na nasa electric or nasa energy industry kasi syempre ako yung we're presenting to them like advanced metering infrastructure na para sa mga electrical engineers, mga ganyan, network engineers. So, ang nangyayari, dahil kausap namin lagi, mga engineer, laging tawag na rin sa amin.
Engineer.
So, ang nangyari, parang sabi nga nila, PEE daw kami. sabi namin, professional electric engineer, hindi, ano daw, parang electric engineer.
Yun.
Actually,
Parang
I shared that dilemma, no. Sometimes because I used to work within the healthcare industry, most of the time napapagkamalan akong doc. Ang tawag nila sa akin most of the time, Doc Shan.
Right.
Sabi ko,
Doc Shan.
Doctor from Recto.
Diba? Kasi parang you've been involved with those people. Kaya parang akala na rin tuloy nila, doktor ka.
Yeah.
Akala na rin engineer ka din. So, yun.
Pero ano mismong program ang kinuha mo, Ellie?
I took up IT. Prior to that, I took up Bachelor of Arts in History din. So,
Wow.
Pero kasi, nung time na yon, kumbaga, I love both things, no? I love yung dalawang bagay na yun. So, I'm into history talaga ever since elementary, high school. Talagang hilig ko yung history, yung mga kwento, mga ganyan. And then, pero, at the same time, talagang may din ako mag-tinker ng mga computer, no? Ever since elementary, parang I started tinkering computers, siguro mga grade 2 ako, grade 1, mga ganyan.
Oh,
so talagang
nice.
nakahiligan ko na siya. So parang after nung sabi ko, parang I want to pursue pa yung ano no, yung sa computer. So I decided na mag-take up pa ng mag-took up pa ng IT. So kumbaga hindi ko naman siya na-practice.
Right. Ano ba yan? Before Windows ba yan? Kasi kami ni Carlo, malamang wala pang Windows. Abutan namin ni Carlo.
Hindi, may Windows na. Actually, yung time na yun. May Windows na.
May Windows na.
May Windows. Pero ano na, 1995 yata.
Right.
So si Chief Eros sa si Ellie, inabot nila yung Windows. Tayo, Chief Carlo, DOS
Nabutan ko, wala pang computer. I distinctly remember my mom coming home with a laptop explaining to me what a laptop was. And what a computer is, di ba? So, although batang-bata pa ako noon, hindi naman ako teenager. So, but I remember a time without the internet, that's for sure. Ellie, quick question. So talking about your origin story, you mentioned you were doing a lot of community work, diba? And then before you got funding, what was, I'm sure mahirap yon, and the show is called Founders Failures, diba? So maybe talk to us a little bit about maybe one of the failures that you had earlier on. Maybe the community level, or you did mga software companies, diba? Anything you can share na syempre hindi confidential?
Yeah. Siguro one of the previous company that we had, no, it's called C Estates. So actually what we are doing back then is we are tokenizing real estate. So that was 2017.
Tokenizing, right.
Yeah, so we were actually doing real estate tokenization that time. So medyo maaga pa siya nung time na yun.
I was gonna say, aga na, 2017. Parang recently ko lang natutunan yung token and NFT. So
2017 siya, and then that time sobrang init pa ng sobrang init ng issue sa SEC talaga when it comes to cryptocurrency. So madalas talaga napapatawag kami sa SEC to explain what we are doing. So nung time na yon, we were able to raise funds. So millions of dollars of funds we were able to raise. The problem is that ayun nga yung timing is always parang catalyst talaga siya for a success of a project. So 2017 wala pa yung concept ng tinatawag natin sa blockchain space na ERC-721. So yun yung non-fungible tokens, no, yung ERC-721. Wala pa noon nung time na yun nag-start kami. Na-release siya noong 2018. So 2018 we decided to utilize yung ERC-721, yung non-fungible tokens. Sobrang alien ng terms na yon pag kumausap ka ng mga tao. Sobrang alien niya. I remember we were talking to the CEO of Lamudi back then. That was Kenneth Stern.
Yes.
That was Kenneth Stern back then, who happens to be the general manager of Binance then, no? No. So,
we met the guy actually. Eros and I met the guy at one event in University of Batangas, no? So we met Kenneth Stern as well. So what happened, man?
Ayun, so syempre, we're talking about tokenizing real estate to a business na nasa real estate na for so many years, no? For so long.
Yeah.
So, sobrang jargon nun and alien sa kanila yon. So ayaw nila, kumbaga parang alam mo yon, yung parang kita mo yung yung parang allergic sila dun sa idea na ito-tokenize natin yung real estate, blah blah blah, ganyan. So they don't want it. They don't want the idea kasi sabi nila you'll be killing the brokers, you'll be the industry is working as is or as it is. So parang why do we have to parang reinvent? So mga ganung idea, no. So we decided not to talk to them. So nung time na yon, dami naming mga brokers partners. Siguro we have around 1,000 plus brokers network that time, no, kasi we're able to partner with Pareb, with Rebap, with Remax, KMC, KW, Keller Williams, yung time na yun. So they are onboarded on the idea of tokenizing real estate. But the problem is parang hindi nag-a-align yung constellation eh. Punta kami sa LRA, pupunta kami sa RD, sa Registry of Deeds. There's always a problem dun sa part na yon kasi parang ang daming masasagasaan daw eh. Maganda yung intention, pero maraming masasagasaang intentions.
Like, what was the intent of help me understand as somebody that's not super familiar with blockchain? And when you say tokenizing real estate, like what is the positive outcome of doing that? What are the benefits?
Imagine, let's say for example, when you're buying a condominium, diba? So you're buying one unit of a condominium. Let's say the condominium building has like 100 units. So the only thing that you can buy is one unit, right? So if we tokenize real estate, we tokenize the whole condominium, meaning to say, hindi lang isang unit yung pwede mong bilhin, a portion of that unit or a fraction of that unit. So if yung isang condominium unit is like, let's say for example, 30 square meter siya na studio type, pwede kang bumili ng 1 square meter lang.
Kumaga pwede mo i-crowdsource or crowdfund yung pagbili ng...
Exactly. Tapos if that particular unit is being rented out, being leased out, tapos nag-generate siya ng revenue, you get the percentage then ng income ng property. So parang nangyayari dito, it allows and empowers yung mga Filipino to be able to buy properties on a very affordable price, no? Kasi parang ang nangyayari dito, tayong mga Filipino, parang tayo pa yung hindi makabili ng property sa Philippines talaga or nahihirapan bumili ng property sa Philippines kasi ang mahal ng presyo, tapos ang hassle ng process, 'di ba? So, parang by tokenizing properties or real estate, it gives access, it gives affordability dun sa mga Filipino natin, no, na makabili ng property talaga.
So, Ellie, was that a big factor on why it failed? Kasi sabi mo nga the timing is not right that time kasi sobrang aga pa. It was too early that the market would adapt on such technology. Tama ba?
Yes, sobrang laking factor niya, to be honest. Kasi yun yan, nung time na yun, wala pa kahit framework when it comes to regulation, no, ng blockchain or crypto. Wala pa tayong crowdfunding rules noon or framework or even license that time, 2017, 2018. So, sobrang laking factor niya. So, ang nangyari dito, we're trying to find ways on how we could we could find leeway or potential other route or alternative para ma-legalize or ma-i-offer siya sa market in a way na yun nga hindi walang masasagasaan, walang mai-hit na regulation and so on and so forth. So we went to Singapore, we went to Hong Kong. So talaga naganap kami ng way, no. The only way that we found is ibenta lang siya sa mga non-Filipino. And then sa mga countries na hindi allowed allowed bumili ng tokens or crypto. So inoffer namin siya outside the Philippines. It was successful. We were able to sell millions of dollars worth of property then. Nice. Pero we have to refund those I mean, we have to
All the
refund those.
purchases? Yeah.
Yes, the purchases because of
Okay.
SEC. I mean, kailangan parang we don't have regulation. The properties in the Philippines, regardless if the buyer is not from the Philippines, we're bound by the jurisdiction here.
Right.
So I have to
So,
refund.
I see. Understand.
Could you have
Okay,
taken
then
a non...
nag-2020 pandemic. But
Yeah.
down lahat ng real estate, close lahat ng real estate. So during that time, we decided to kumbaga call it up. So we decided to part ways na ng mga co-founders. And then 2021, nilabas yung crowdfunding rules, nilabas yung crowdfunding license. So I mean,
were you part of that?
Meron na tayong ganun, siguro.
Pwede sana.
Yes, pwede sana.
Right. Was that how did you consider a non-blockchain approach if because the regulation was against tokenization or blockchain or wala regulation?
We tried actually we tried to do it. Good question, Carlo, no? Kasi meron tayong REIT law. 2000 something exist. 2000 something pa nag-exist yung REIT law. Hindi lang siya enforce or hindi lang malinaw pa yung IRR niya, yung tinatawag nating implementing rules and regulation. We tried that path. Ang problema, when you go the REIT path, sobrang matrabaho niya kasi if you're applying for IPO.
Help for the people who don't know, what is REIT?
Real Estate Investment Trust. So
there you go.
yun yung same thing. Yun yung same thing na non-tokenized and non-blockchain type ng fractional real estate. So you're buying into a pool of property na percentage lang or fraction lang, tapos whatever is the income, you get dividends of those investment na ginawa mo dun sa properties na yon.
Galing
But that was out na before pa or recently lang din lumabas?
Recently lang din lumabas ang IRR na. That's why.
Timing talaga.
Recently lang din naglabas ng REITs ang Ayala, ang Double Dragon. Recently lang nila nilabas yung REITs nila.
I've been seeing.
So, at time wala pa talaga yung IRR. So, timing is always a very crucial factor, no? So, sobrang importante nung timing talaga. Kasi, you might be thinking of that idea like years ago. Tapos, tinry mo siyang i-launch that time. It didn't work. Yeah, why don't we try to do it again this time? Diba? Na mas mataas na adoption. Mas, alam mo yun. So, I didn't stop actually. I'm still looking forward to developing that tokenization of real estate. No? And hopefully, by this year or next year, it might come to reality, no?
So challenging times talaga during that time, ano?
Yeah, oo, definitely talaga. Ang hirap kasi regulation kalaban mo din. Parang, alam mo yon, kinakatok ka lagi ng SEC from time to time na, yan yung ginagawa nyo.
I think that's one part of the challenges during that time when the Philippines is actually transitioning to a tech I would say hub or compared with our neighboring countries kasi nauna na sila tayo nagta-transition pa lang, so yung adaptability ng market is not that as similar to our neighboring countries na they are actually already advanced like Singapore, Vietnam and others, so I think that's a very mahirap
Oo, tsaka real estate actually, parang real estate kasi is the most regulated class asset eh. Parang not only in the Philippines, but in other parts of the world. So, tapos nasa Philippines pa tayo, which is, alam mo yun, manual lahat. So, ang hirap talaga, ang hirap. Ultimo nga yung mga titulo natin, dami backlogs eh. Diba? So, sobrang problematic.
Was there a country na parang naging successful na yung idea yon?
Dubai, saka Japan, actually.
Nice.
Yes, sa Japan, sa Dubai, when you purchase a property or even any assets like cars, siguro antay ka lang 10 to 15 minutes, it gets transferred to you. Everything is running on blockchain. Pwede ka ring magbayad ng cryptocurrency when you purchase a property, when you purchase a car. So, ganun ka aggressive din ang Dubai.
On blockchain
Right.
technology.
Yes, on blockchain technology. So most of the processes there in Dubai, blockchain talagang ginagamit na.
Pero buti kayo you because of those despite of those transitioning the challenges, you guys still stay motivated, and we still have this, and then
Still going on.
Yeah.
we have to go on. We have to
Lastro lang
move on.
talaga yung lastro lang talaga yung pandemic kasi wala eh. I mean, dun ka sa property kumbaga kikita 'di ba? When you have it rented out. Sarado lahat, 'di ba? So wala talaga.
Pero would you agree, Ellie, would you agree na one good thing that the pandemic has brought us, we were slingshot to become tech inclined?
Digital.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
For
Actually,
sure.
kaya nga sinasabi ko na I'm still looking forward to tokenizing real estate kasi yung mga previous na mga brokers na mga nasa network namin na they still know me working on tokenizing real estate, nagre-reach out ulit sila na why don't we do real estate digitization this time? It might work na this time kasi they experience pandemic 'di ba? Lahat shutdown And only those businesses na nasa digital world, sila yung nag-thrive, 'di ba? So, they experience it. Ayaw na nilang, if ever mangyari man yun ulit, gusto nila, kumbaga parang foolproof, future-proof din yung business nila.
Yeah.
Right.
Matanong lang, Ellie, sa lahat ng startups na na-start mo from 2015, tama? Meron bang nag-stand out na isang bagay na sobrang hard pivot ka? You had a vision, pero moving forward ay parang malito. Is there any situation na talagang hard pivot ka dahil sobrang unexpected in challenges?
Actually, meron. Well, nangyayari siya Parang yung pag-pivot kasi, it's like a natural parang natural occurrence siya sa mga founders talaga Kasi mag-uusap kayo ng co-founders mo, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Alam niyo yung vision niyo alam niyo kung saan kayo papunta. May nakaset na kayong plans. Pero you have to change the plan in order for you to get to that partner, to that vision. So most of the time we did that. So sa Soltera before ang focus namin is B2C. B2C na talaga, even yung namin, software namin, product namin, lahat. Kumbaga nakaset na on B2C. And then hindi pala tayo dapat B2C. So, parang 360 degree kami, dapat pala B2C. So, lahat na nagawa namin, product, yung mga lahat yun kailangan palitan, gagawin B2C siya na focus naman.
Sorry, from B2C, you went to B2B or?
Naging B2B, oo. So, hindi pala siya B2C, dapat pala B2B dapat siya. So, syempre, magkaiba yung kumbaga yung user view ng B2C sa B2B, di ba? So, lahat kailangan namin palitan talaga. Kailangan din namin baguhin.
Yeah, actually, segue ko lang. Actually, yung pivoting na yan, there's one, I know one person is very good in pivoting, especially on training such as that. I think, sa Startup Page training under Carlo Valencia. Sinegue ko na, Chief, Yeah, you go for startup.
Ako nga yun
Carlo Valencia.
Kung gusto nilang, not for you, Ellie, but for the people watching, kung kailangan nyo ng coaching, kung kailangan nyo katulong sa startup, ayan, si Ellie nandyan.
Alright. Chief Eros?
Yeah. Ang ganda nung nung nasabi mo nga na you had a very clear vision from the very start na B2C, B2B na naging B2C?
Baliktad. B2C na naging B2B.
B2B. Yeah. So paano mo binabalance siya ngayon with your co-founders na nasa ganung situation na kayo? Hindi talaga Kasi feeling ko sa ibang co-founders, hindi, naniniwala ako ito talaga dapat. Hindi, mas maganda to. So paano mo tinatakal yun o paano mo hinahandle yung ganung situation para to move forward?
How did you come into an agreement? Ganun with the co-founders. Actually, magandang tanong yan, di ba? Kasi normally,
magkakaroon. Talaga minsan yan.
Actually,
pag-usapan natin nung una pa lang, ito dapat.
Hindi talaga may iwasan na magkakaroon ng parang disagreement or heated argument, when it comes to mga co-founders. Sabi nga nila, mas mahirap to na relationship kesa marriage. Kasi, marriage, especially sa ibang bansa, pwede silang mag-divorce di ba? Pero yung co-founder relationship, ang hirap niya. So, sobrang ano niya, no? Dapat, you have to come up with terms talaga. Kailangan may magpaparaya and all, no? Pero, sa amin kasi, we always have open communications. Actually, para sa amin, dalawa lang important na bagay sa team namin, no? Yung una is yung communication. Tapos, yung pangalawa is yung reliability. So, I mean, usually magkasama naman talaga yung reliability tsaka yung communication. Pero parang para sa akin, yung sa mga attributes or siguro ugali ng mga founders, sobrang importante para sa akin nung reliability tsaka nung pagiging communicative, no? Kasi yung reliability is to always show up whatever the circumstances, kung nasan man kayo, ano man yung issue, ano man yung problema, 'di ba? Nasan ano man status nyo, you always show up, 'di ba? So that's reliability. Communications is always telling, no, ano talaga naisip mo, anong nafi-feel mo, and so on and so forth. Kasi wala namang madadaan sa, 'di ba? Wala namang problema na hindi madadaan sa maayos na usapan. So
right.
Yeah.
For us, lagi namin ginagawa is that we put all our insights on the table. So right now dun sa mga other, sa mga current startups ko, we are like 5 lang kami sa core team. Yung sa isa naman 4 lang kami. We have advisors na we could consult anytime. So we put all our insights on the table. Expect there will be differences, no? Meron kaming mga differences when it comes to insight. Kasi unang-una, we're coming from different experiences. We're coming from different expertise din. So iba yung insights, outlook namin on one issue, and iba rin yung outlook ng other co-founders ko, iba rin yung other co-founders, no. So ang ginagawa namin is that we just weigh in ano ba yung mas best for the mas best for the team, mas best for the company. So that's always the go-to decision. Kasi at the end of the day, alam naman namin kung saan kami papunta. Maaring magkakaroon lang kami ng iba't ibang path, no? Siguro yung isa gustong mag-shortcut, yung isa gustong mag-long cut, straight lang, yung isa siguro may stopover, mga ganyan. Pero at the end of the day, yung pupuntahan namin, isa lang naman parang we're eyeing on the same destination. So that's what we always do, no? So yung communication talaga, very important.
Yes. Actually, we share, I think, definitely, because Chief Eros and then Chief Carlo are all also founders and co-founders of different startups as well. Especially kami ni Chief Eros dito sa Batangas, we definitely share the same dilemma in terms of co-founders and then the agreements.
Ideas.
Ideas.
Kami ni Sean pag nagmi-meeting, okay, hinga muna malalim.
Actually, one of the best part with these two guys here, not because we're on the same show, sabi nga ni Carlo last time, the one great factor that we have here, siguro yung dynamics namin. When we thought of something, we all agree agad. Sige, okay, maganda yan. Do it.
We learn as we grow. We learn as we grow. Start na natin agad.
I was talking to a friend of mine who studied in Ateneo Elementary High School and then syempre college co-ed na. And then I asked him yung experience niya. All boys versus co-ed. Pag all boys talaga, lahat nag-aabang lang sa sagot. Sige, gawin natin. Madali na usapan.
Tirada, go na agad.
Women listening, nothing against you. It's just something we've observed. Diba? Yeah. We need, actually, in fairness, we do need that debate. It's just that it doesn't happen often when it's just all boys. So
exactly.
Nothing personal.
Experiencing the same thing din towards kay Sean, diba? We have a startup ni Sean and we're trying to build it. And pag nakikipag-usap ako kay Sean, medyo syempre crucial conversations and tough yung decisions na kailangan. Chief, A or B? Kagabi lang to. Medyo mahirap. Sige, Chief, ang pros and cons ng A, pros and cons ng B.
Yeah.
Hingang malalim, mahirap. Tapos di ko na-discuss in details, pero minsan.
Ganun talaga actually. Ganun talaga kasi kailangan may option Mahirap din kasi pag wala kayong option, di ba? Parang hindi involved yung iba Parang walang. So kaya kami, we put everything on the table. Usapan natin, kung hindi matapos ngayon, tulugan muna natin, 'di ba? Parang daanan lang natin, wag natin tambayan, sabi ko nga lagi. Kumbaga pahinga lang tayo siguro, kailangan lang ng tulog niya, no? Siguro isang boteng beer, di ba? Oo. And then makakahanap din ng way para, 'di ba, kapag come up with a resolution.
Right. Chief, one question then on my end. With all those nabanggit mo kanina, especially your challenges during and after when you formed your startup, what would be yung when you realized that you are on the right path? When did it happen?
Siguro nakita namin kasi lagi kasi we are always talking about advocacy. Parang nagkaroon ng time na parang we're doing the advocacy, people are seeing the value of what we're doing. Tapos marami nagre-reach out, yung iba are offering supports. Yung support na yun, hindi lang siya emotionally and moral support, no? Yung iba, they're offering mga financial support din. So, kumbaga, like say for example, no, for the block, there's like 4 VCs na lumapit na sa amin, offering investment. But unfortunately, we have to turn it down, no? So, lupit namin, no? Parang kami pa yung tumanggi sa investment. Pero may reason din bakit namin tinurn down yung investment. Kasi ang focus pa namin ngayon is the advocacy part. So we want to give value pa, especially ang focus namin sa university, ganyan, di ba, mga students. The block kasi is deeply rooted doon sa tinatawag nating SDG number 4 tsaka SDG number 8, no, ng United Nations Sustainable and Development Goals. So that's quality education, tapos that's social status or improved social status. No? So we believe kasi that it works hand in hand. When you have better education, it opens better opportunity, no? And then when you have better opportunity, definitely you could improve your social status then. And then in turn, ikaw na siguro yung magpe-pay it forward, pay it back to the community. Kung ano rin yung nagawa namin sa'yo before na we were able to give you pre-education, certification, training. Hopefully, may bigay din nila doon sa ibang mga student or sa mga tao na nangangailangan. And I think nangyayari. Yeah, there's domino effect kasi for example, we're running boot camps. Sa first batch ng boot camps namin, may 2-3 doon gusto mag-mentor. Part na sila ng mga mentors namin. Nag-mentor na sila ng batch 2. Tapos sa batch 2 naman, may 2 gustong maging mentor. So they mentored yung batch 3. Tapos sa batch 3, may 2 na gustong mag-mentor din. So they mentored naman yung batch 4. So kumbaga nangyayari, nagkakaroon ng ripple effect din dun sa mga tao na nakikita nila na. Diba? Parang tulungan
ako nila. So, you guys is just like, parang paying it forward, Tama, no? So, that's a very good,
Amen.
Oo, syempre, pay it forward. That's a very, siguro one of the one of the most favorite golden rule, pay it forward. Now, Ellie, another question.
Sorry to cut you off, no? Masasabi ko rin na parang we're on the right path kasi money is coming in eh. So parang,
yes.
Money is coming in. So when I say money is coming in, dati when we run our programs, talagang siya, out of advocacy talaga, no? Out of our money.
Labas ng bulsa.
Exactly, own expense namin. Pero ngayon, we're running all our programs sa university, wala kaming ginagastos.
Nice.
And then nakakalaman sa mga students.
So malaki yung burn rate nyo nung una, no? Sobrang
before kasi hindi naman namin siya kumbaga hindi naman namin siya masabi na burn rate kasi we're doing it out of our advocacy talaga eh. Kumbaga parang own passion namin siya. It's our advocacy talaga. So parang it's to pay it forward to community. Pero what makes it right and what makes it na nandun sa path ng success is because this time, we're able to do our programs as wala na kaming nilalabas na pera. And then, may mga lumalapit pa willing to support yung ginagawa namin.
Right.
May tawag dyan.
Tama. Now, Chief Ellie, I have one question. Would that be, very crucial question din siguro based on dun sa sinabi mo kanina. Would that or those challenges, meron ba siyang influence dun sa decision making nyo right now? And then you feel that you're now on path of success?
Hindi pa namin siya masabing nasa path ng success eh. Lagi nga namin sinasabi parang malayo na pero malayo pa, no? So, nandun kami sa part na yun eh. We've come a long way na talaga pero wala pa kami dun sa goal namin talaga. So, it's good. May good feeling siya na we're able to help yung mga tao, no, na we're serving talaga yung pinaka yung purpose ng The Block. Pero it has impact or effects din dun sa decision making namin kasi syempre we have to be parang masabi ko na parang careful ganyan kasi parang siguro one mistake lang it might go down the drain eh. Ganoon naman lagi, 'di ba? Parang one mistake mo lang, isang pagkakamali lang, burado lahat yung mga nagawa mo kahit gaano pa kaganda, gaano pa kabuti ang mga 'yan. So, we're always we're always careful pa rin, kumbaga cautious pa rin kami when we're dealing with kung sino man yung who will be partnering with, i-collaborate namin kasi tingin ko hindi mawawala sa startup space, sa blockchain space or kung nasaan ka mang industry yung mga taong opportunist eh, 'di ba? Parang they see you doing this, they look at you na baka pwede kong i-leverage yung mga to, di ba? And baka mamaya abusuhin pa, di ba? So that's why pa rin kami. Inclusive, we're inclusive, we collaborate with anyone, but at the same time we do careful due diligence din, no?
Right. So medyo we have a lot of questions to ask you. I wish we have a lot of time, but I want to ask you the last question, Chief Eddie. Now, a final piece of advice doon sa mga aspiring tech co-founders or founders based doon sa failure stories nyo. Would there be any piece of advice para sa kanila?
Siguro sa akin, yun, syempre number one, yung time is very important, no? Sobrang importante ng timing. Timing sobrang crucial niyan when you're trying to launch a new your startup. Pero syempre, bago kasi dumating dun sa tamang timing, merong pinakamahirap gawin ng lahat ng mga aspiring startup founders, no. Yung word mismo na start. So, sobrang hirap gawin 'yan kasi syempre ang daming mga ang daming mga parang you're thinking ahead, no. Isipin. Exactly. What if hindi mag-work to? What if yung ganito? What if ganyan? Diba? So, ang hirap gawin kasi nga, yung start pa lang, ang hirap na simulan. So, for me, para sa mga aspiring founders, una yung gawin is to start. So, just start, no? Kagaya ng sabi nga kanina ninyo, no? Na parang, let's do it. Parang ganun, diba? Don't forget about that. Let's do it. So, just start. That's the first thing. And then, second is yung timing is very important. You have to time in din kung kailan mo gagawin yung business na yon, kung kailan mo gagawin yung journey mo na yan, adventure mo na yan. And lastly, always show up. So yung always show up.
I like that one.
Commitment. Yes, commitment.
Like
always show up. Kasi tawag dito, ako like ko sinasabi, we have mga students, part ng mga cohorts din namin kasi we're running hackathon, so we have mga cohorts din. Simple lang yung sinasabi namin sa kanila, investors are not investing in your product or in your business, no? They are investing in you as the founder. So, anong hinahanap nila sa isang founder? Syempre yung committed talaga na gawin yung business na yan. Hindi natatakot or always looking forward kung ano yung mangyayari kinabukasan, no? So, they're always looking for founders na will always show up whatever the circumstances is, no? So, 'di ba? Bear market man, still show up, continue building, 'di ba? So, darating yung time kasi na makita ng mga tao yung ginagawa mo when you always show up eh. So, sobrang importante noon. And ang hirap noon kasi it takes courage, no? To have that commitment.
Right. And
I love it.
up, if I may add up, Chief A, I think I would like to add up yung sinabi dati ni Chief Carlo before. When you are building, this is actually from his design thinking. Chief Carlo, nakikinig ako sa mga sessions mo. When you're building,
thank you.
Do not think first about the money, yung profitability. Kasi yung ibang startups, they're thinking of magkano ba kikitain natin dito, but they're not actually building or addressing a particular pain point ng customers nila. Di ba?
Sa amin, sa mga cohort namin, always think of the value. Kasi natanong, during our design thinking course, natanong din sa amin yung question na parang, when you're trying to go on a market, na kunwari may competitor ka, parang sabi nila, parang labanan mo on the pricing. So, syempre kami naman, no, bakit mo lalabanan sa pricing? Labanan mo sa value.
Exactly.
Kasi, for example, ako, sabi ko sa kanila, I'm willing to pay more kung alam ko I will be getting more, di ba? May convenience, much better service, better value. I'd rather pay more, di ba? So, it's all about value, no? So, tama yon, yung value muna, and then profit will come in. Ganon din yung core value namin sa The Block, no? We do things free. Libre ang mga yan kasi alam namin darating yung pera in the right time, in the right moment.
Right. Tama.
I love it.
Yan na natutunan ko kay Carlo Valencia.
Thank you, sir. That's actually, that's a conversation I've been having a lot recently as well. I like what you said. And then just to wrap up some of the things you said, just start. Love that part. Sometimes may mga nagtatanong sa Startup PH and then ang sinasagot ka na lang, just do it. Tapos may gift. Diba? Tama na pag-iisip. Ibenta mo na yan. Right? But also, I most especially like being yung advocacy and because it matters to you and the giving, kumaga, paying it forward. It's a bit of a strategy of mine, but I don't think I've really thought of it that way as a strategy. Actually, more of yun dun talaga ako nagsimula eh. Like I had a startup, it failed, and I see all of these people doing exactly the same things that I did, right? So I'm like, sige bro, kakusapin kita, tuturuan kita, walang problema. And then eventually started na lang building the brand from there, and then now there's a coaching program. Link on the comments. But the point is, diba, it started with the advocacy. And then eventually, may mahanapan ka talaga na, and then people will notice, or you'll find a business model that works. So I very like that. But something I haven't said in a long time that I really like what you said is about always showing up. Diba? Kasi nga mahirap eh. Mahirap talaga. And just actually, and magbubuhat lang ako ng bangko pero twice na akong pumunta ng Batangas, naisip ko, pupunta ba ako?
Yes.
Nah, man. I told John, I'm gonna go. Right?
Yes. Exactly. Just show up, di ba?
And then, mahirap lang yung before going. Pero syempre, pag nagka-drive na ako, alright. Di ba? Kumaga, nakikita mo yung progress. Yeah, there's a new episode coming. Right? So, we're gonna meet new people. We're going to inspire new people. So showing
kasi
up
nadidemotivate pagka may mga rejections, ganyan, parang ayoko na, stop na ako, di ba? Parang napupunta sa meeting, ganyan, wala na. So parang ang hirap talaga ng commitment talaga, yung commitment part. Kasi yung startup naman, parang kala kasi yung iba kasi ang tingin sa startup, magiging milyonaryo tayo, di ba? Yun lang yung nakikita sa surface. Pero lahat ng cries, di ba? Lahat ng sweat, blood, na shed para mapunta dun sa level na yun. Hindi naman nakikita kasi laging success story kasi yung pinag-uusapan natin, si ganito successful yan na ganyan. Pero alam nyo ba na bago naging successful yan, 15 startup failures niya?
Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
That's that's actually the purpose of this show, we tackled more about the failure stories kasi tingin ng iba they get intimidated by success stories. So not realizing daming failure stories before we were able to reach that point of success. But anyways, again, sobrang bitin na naman ng show natin, no? Kasi
dami ko pa question in mind.
There's a lot to talk about. Oo, sobrang ang daming topics we want to ask you, Ellie, especially your journey. But unfortunately, of course, we have to stop here, and then probably we can do another session with another episode. But again, we here in Startup in
Founders Failures
like to
thank you. I love you too, Sean.
I'm very now inclined in Startup PH training. Anyways, we would love to thank you. We would like to thank you, Ellie, for giving us your time, especially committing on your time to have this to have you on our show. Again, if you do want to invite the viewers or your avid, of course, you have lots of followers. The Black has a lot of followers as well. Maybe you can invite them and then encourage them to go through the Black programs.
Sure. Thank you, Sean. Ayun sa mga viewers natin dyan, to all our viewers that are looking into learning blockchain. So, we're providing curriculum, syllabus para sa mga schools. Of course, bago nyo ma-implement yung programs, we'll be doing training the trainers muna. And then, once you're certified, ibibigay namin sa inyo yung curriculum and yung program so you could run it into your university. So, we do run boot camps then para sa mga faculty and students who would like to deep dive on learning blockchain on a hands-on level and practical application. No? So, we do the boot camps that has output-based and skill-based certification. So talagang hindi nyo lang malalaman yung blockchain ng theoretical, literal talaga na hands-on and practical application.
Nice.
And we do have mga student ambassador program. So these are students that we are helping and we're grooming to really further push yung awareness and adoption ng blockchain sa university. So sa ngayon, meron pa lang kaming 4 or 5 na mga student ambassadors na nagpo-push ng mga blockchain program sa schools. So sinusupport namin sila, and then nagpo-provide kami ng mga resources, not just speakers, but also if needed mga finances. So to the best of our ability, we help them also. And if you don't have blockchain programs pa in your university and you're looking to have one or willing to offer one, connect lang kayo sa amin, message nyo lang ako or go to our website, theblock.com. Baliktad lang yung letter K and C. Or email us at hello@theblock.com. And definitely, we could have blockchain programs sa school ninyo. So, we have 61 university partners na from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. So, we're looking to add more. And hopefully, yung university nyo na yung next where we could come in and build sa loob ng facility. So, yun. Thank you, Founder Failures. And hopefully, marami pang touch na mga aspiring founders and entrepreneurs, no? To start and commit on what they're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chief Ellie. Do the honor, Chief Eros.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ellie. We know you're a very busy person, but you still showed up. So
yeah,
this has been another episode of Founder Failures. Watch out for another episode every Saturday 6 p.m. only here at the new channel. And don't forget to get inspired.
Don't fear failures.
And join the Batangas startup community. This has been
Founders Failures.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hey.